I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border.
Hey, what's good with y'all boys? In last week's video about the downfall of Black Lives Matter, I told you guys I would post every Friday at 5 p.m. and I was not planning on missing today's video. Our last video actually got age restricted and banned in several countries, so there's that. Again, I'm sure you guys already read the title, but if you guys didn't, in today's video we are going to be going over the ongoing crisis at the border that was caused by Biden and his vice president, Kamala Harris. Now, obviously, we all know Harris is running on the Democratic ticket. I'm going to show you why her possible win would result in a continuation of crisis at the border. In February of 2019, President Trump declared the border a national emergency. This gave border states funds to hire more ICE agents and resources to build the wall. On January 20th, 2021, President Biden signed several executive orders related to immigration. The first executive order he put out regarding immigration ended the national emergency at the border. What this did was it defunded states' ability to hire more border patrol and halted construction on the wall. President Biden then raised the amount of refugees admitted into the states without citizenship from 15,000 to 125,000. For those who don't want to do the math, that is 733% increase. Biden also ended the Remain in Mexico policy. This would have asylum seekers waiting for their claims to be looked at while they stay in their home countries. These three executive orders had a terrible impact on not only border security, but national security. The border crisis could have been a lot less traumatic if Biden just left Trump's policies in place. Let's now compare the numbers of illegal crossings under the Trump and Biden administrations. According to the Department of Homeland Security, these are the graphs compared from Trump to Biden. It is very apparent that we see the major surge in illegal immigrants crossing when Biden became acting president. I am now going to go over some Biden-era incidents and cases involving illegal immigrants and their villainous crimes, to say the least.
Earlier this year, while Rachel was out on a run, she wants to keep herself in good shape, and she ends up getting killed. In her neighborhood, she was brutally raped and murdered by an illegal alien who was led into America by Kamala Harris and her policies of stupidity. Savage person who committed this heinous crime first killed another woman in El Salvador before walking across our open border.
If we are truly being honest with ourselves, this murder, along with all the other incidents I'm about to cover, were completely avoidable. However, due to Biden's ill policies, Americans are now dead. Rachel isn't the first American to die and be tortured by an undocumented immigrant, nor will she be the last, especially if the far left stays in power. This is another illegal immigrant that was arrested in New York City on rape charges against a 13-year-old girl. He even did this in public. The illegal immigrant pulled out a large knife and directed a male and female teen to the park. The man then sexually assaults the teen girl in front of her friend. Later on in court, he even admits to recording the whole incident. The young girl survived, but will have to live the rest of her life with the trauma she endured. Unfortunately, and more tragically, our next case ended in more of a nightmare. On the morning of June 17th this year, a young girl's body was found in the creek of a Houston town. It was found out to be a 12-year-old girl named Jocelyn Nungry. After doing some investigating, police found footage from a local gas station that pictured Jocelyn with a man. That man was 26-year-old Franklin Ramos. Him, along with his friend Jose Martinez, lured Jocelyn, in which he brutally sexually assaulted her, strangled her to death, and dumped her naked body in the creek.
He took away my firstborn. I was a teen mom. She's who helped me grow, mature.
After being arrested nearly a week later, authorities find out these two men illegally traveled here from Venezuela earlier this year. If you think it ends there, you're wrong. Martinez was caught by Border Patrol earlier this year. He was released under the condition that he wore his ankle monitor. He cut this off after the murder to avoid tracking. As I stated previously, this was preventable.
Because now I get to grieve every single day. Every milestone that hits gets harder because she's not there for it. She was gonna be a 7th grader. She had her whole life ahead of her. Her whole whole life ahead of her, and it was viciously taken away by two evil, heinous monsters.
After the mother of Jocelyn did a meeting with Donald Trump, leftists were outraged, claiming this tragedy was being used as a political prop. Also, isn't the whole point of being a politician being able to identify cause and effects and being able to provide solutions to fix them? Let's also not forget the fact that these are the same people who are using deceased children from school shootings to ban firearms. And how could we forget about those who use dead black people to defund the police?
So the right wing says, oh, because there's a criminal migrant gang, we should ban all immigrants. Well, that doesn't make any sense. And overall, when you look at the crime rates, we've been over this many times. I hate to break it to you guys, but native-born Americans, twice as violent.
This nigga is trash.
For those who are blessed enough to not know who that was Cenk Uygur, a political commentator for TYT on a leftist news point. To debunk his first point, no one is actively calling for all migrants to be deported. We are simply asking for a secured border, and honestly, this should be something everyone agrees on. Secondly, he mentions that Americans commit more crimes. No shit. That's because migrants, legal or not, make up only 13.8% of the population. If Kamala Harris wins the upcoming election, you can expect our cities and towns to continue flooding with illegals. Here's what that would come with. Obviously, we all know that the cartels love the open border. I mean, we are in fact their biggest customers in the world, so we can expect them to keep on making bank off of killing Americans with their drugs. The more undocumented immigrants we get in a short amount of time means we'll have to take care of more criminals, medical patients, and students because we did not prepare for it. This has and will continue to put a strain on public services. Americans will also lose many job opportunities. Companies like hiring illegals because they do tend to accept cheaper labor. Plus, many of them think that illegals are too uneducated to understand their rights as workers. We all know what supply and demand is. When people need something that is low in supply, the price will go up dramatically. An influx of people would make the housing market skyrocket. That's for renting or owning. If you finish watching this video and you still think that Biden and Kamala aren't the cause of this crisis, you have some serious soul searching to do. I just gave you stacks of evidence that you can check in the description if you are interested. I can go on and rant for hours on how Kamala will continue to deplete our national security, but instead I want to end this video by sending my condolences to those affected by the Biden administration and his policies. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. Go ahead and leave all your questions and comments down below. I'll be reading all of them and responding to all of them. Thank you guys.